all of you did such amazing short talks, and obviously you're people that give a lot of other people energy. You give off such generosity of spirit in what you do to inspire others. But I want to know, who inspires you? What gives you energy to wake up and keep going?
Hi, Mom.
Is that your mom?
Mom and Dad are probably
your
the two.
baby?
No, that's my sister's baby.
I love that baby.
I just love her. But I would say for our entire lives, our parents have been just unbelievable role models, and especially when you're a kid who can't see well, they really do a lot to say, you are you know what, you're not going to be able to see the ball, but you are going to go play soccer because you should. And just kind of pushing us in all the right directions and being there to pick us up. And that's kind of, I think, where a lot of our energy and confidence comes from, at least.
You know, we have a lot of families reach out to us now that get diagnosed with something similar to us. And in a way, we're almost grateful that it happened to us at such a young age, because we didn't have a view on the condition. We took that cue from the people around us, which were our parents. You know, so they kind of gave us that mentality very early on.
Yeah, the same thing. My mom and dad were school teachers who inspired me, motivated me. My dad drove a bread truck into our driveway, and I'm thinking, we're going into the bread business now. And he said, no, this is our camper. I said, no, it says Marita Bread and Rolls on the side. And we converted that bread truck into our camper. And so they've always been there, inspiring, motivating, helping me see that journey. And I wanted to protect him, you know, so.
And for all of you, I mean, you're doing so much right now, but is there a secret seed of passion that may not be present in your bio? Is there something that you hope to accomplish in the next, what's that, vitamins?
Performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah. My question has just flown out of my, I think I need some of that. What's in it for the next 2 to 5 years for each of you?
I'm wearing obviously this onesie because you're wearing yours.
I know, I lead the way.
But I'm really trying to help inspire the next generation of explorers, and especially underserved, underrepresented, people that are in Time's Up, Me Too, knowing that you can overcome any obstacle in your way, like what you guys have done. I mean, it's magical. And to have a kid be transformed from thinking they're no good, they can't do anything, to saying, I can be an astronaut, or I can be a fashion designer, I can be anything, really. And it's that giving them that man or woman with the yellow hat. It's just so important. So that's my crusade.
You're going, man.
You know, for us, I don't know if there's any magic other than the fact that we just love what we're doing. You know, we just got lucky to find something that we enjoy so tremendously. It makes it so much easier to deal with all the headaches. Steve Jobs has, a great quote about, you have to be sort of delusionally in love with what you're doing to deal with all the tough stuff that comes along with running a project or doing anything. And I think if there's any secret to the energy or the passion, it's just that we love running this project.
And I would only add that some of it's selfish. I mean, we are fighting for a cure for ourselves. There's 11 million other folks who have retinal eye disease, but we're 2 of them. And we are legitimately going to cure these diseases very, very soon. I can't give you a timeline. I'm not a scientist. I wish, maybe. But
5 months.
Oh, thanks, man. I was waiting for that.
Solving the problems of the world.
But that's what it is selfishly, we get to build a community of unbelievable people and get to help propel this cause forward. And that's what we love.
My husband is backstage dutifully taking photos for my social media because, like all of you touched upon, I think social media is becoming a bit of a dirty word, but I've always felt it's so important to storytell, but also use social media as a form of transparency, especially when you're lucky, as we all have in some way, to have like a unique life and a unique platform. I mean, I fell into kind of a U.S. embassy, and I remember landing there, and my friends in Chicago were like, what do ambassadors do? Are you just giving visas out all the time? Like, what's going on over there? And I said, we need to show people that, you can really use this platform for change. You can bring in young immigrant kids from neighborhoods far outside of the capital and put them together with Jeff Koons or Justin Timberlake or Muhammad Yunus. And why is that important? Because they get inspired. They get role models, and that's all it takes sometimes. I mean, you guys are proof of that. So that's my long diatribe there to say, how do you both look at your responsibility? Because you all represent a demographic. The blind, I mean, you all represent, you're a role model for that community. And how do you use social media to kind of buttress that? Is it sometimes scary to be the face of an entire community that way? That's like 4 questions in a row. So just choose one.
I don't think it's scary if you're doing your why. And what is it, Mark Twain said, the 2 most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. So if you're doing that passion and that why, what you put out there is yourself. And if you can use that for good, like I posted on Instagram, Leland Melvin on Instagram, I just posted this picture of myself and 2 blind guys hanging out in the back, right?
I wasn't in it.
I just met these 2 incredible people, and now my 17,000 people that look at my Instagram feed know about your story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And right before that, I posted a picture of these little kids at Hope Charter Elementary School in Raleigh yesterday, and we were just hanging out and talking, and the second picture is of Harriet Tubman and all these elders who have, shared this knowledge and done these great things for the legacy of the next generation. And I'm standing in front of them doing like the Wakanda salute, And so people are laughing, they're, ha, 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 but it's telling a story.
Social media is, I don't think we actually, even though we've lived with it for a while now, I don't think we all fully appreciate it. We were very, very fortunate. We were, Two Blind Brothers was elected to the Small Business Council at Facebook recently, which has gotten a lot of controversy, but when we were there a couple months ago, we were there with 80 other companies, and Two Blind Brothers is, without a doubt, here because of social media, and the reason is because for the first time in history, you can reach a niche community. We can reach everybody who cares about cause-driven brands and vision impairment through social media. You could make a living talking about labradoodles on the internet these days. I mean, it's allowed us to get much more narrow on our own values in terms of what we care about and what we're passionate about, and find that audience. So it's been a really great thing for us.
I think there's a hashtag like beetle dung followers or something. Anything you can follow. Right?
And the only thing for the fear portion of it, as long as you're being totally authentic to who you are and to what you represent on every day of your life, it's really easy to be out there, because every morning I tell my girlfriend a terrible joke, and we put that out on social, and just because you're not that funny in front of a group of people, it doesn't matter. It's just because you get to be authentically yourself, and that's what people really care about, because when brands try to be fake or try to hide something, they get caught, because there's so many people out there investigating so deeply into everything you say.
We have a question, yes. We need some more, so line up.
So I, just wanted to thank you all for being here. Sometimes one of my favorite times of the year. Being here last night with Dan Rather and wanting to just stay in the Paramount, in this amazing bubble of Dan Rather's world, and now today in your world. And so this is just a moment, a brief escape from reality. And as soon as we cross the doors out there and it just kind of chaos again, and we're in kind of Trump's world a little bit, sorry.
Don't give him the power.
Okay.
Don't give him the power.
Well, and so that's my question is, here I feel like this idealistic little bubble, and I love hearing your stories of success and overcoming grit and hardships, but given the kind of world that we're living in now, and the kind of haters and the hardships and the difficulty, if you could just kind of speak to really, like, are there days where you're just under the covers and having a hard time, and what gets you out, what gets you what keeps the kind of resistance and the persistence, because I think that, you know, here, sheltered and together, it feels amazing, but then knowing that that's not the real world, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. That's a tough one. Maybe I'll let you take that one, Leland.
So I was in Malawi talking to 80 African girls and 20 US girls about STEAM education when Charlottesville happened. And I saw this on the, you know, when the neo-Nazis and everyone were marching through here with assault rifles. And I'm watching this on CNN thinking, what is going on in my country? And I'm doing this from Malawi, where girls are asking me, why do you even care about me? My father doesn't care, my mother doesn't care, no one cares about me, people rape me, they just you know, whatever. And I wrote this little article to our president asking him to just get this perspective shift, to go to space and look back and know that we're all in this together. And then I stopped reading the paper a little bit and I stopped watching some of the news, and I noticed that I was getting happier and I was able to inspire and motivate more people. So if you get this groundswell of people, especially children, that are not looking at the news and are not thinking about this stuff, but they are actually trying to better themselves and figure out their journey and how they can replace these people, this is a cycle. This will be bumped out. Think of the evolution of our planet and things happening over these grand scales. And I try not to get mired in the myopic moment that's going to bring me down and change me and make me have a heart attack and die because this orange man is doing crazy things. So, perspective. Look at the perspective shift from space, and it does change you and make you feel there's a bigger message than just this little thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. I want to look at the Earth from space now.
I channeled that from you guys. You know.
We're going with you to the next.
Hardship is a paradox, because even though in the short term, as long as it's not something that's going to permanently destroy you or impair you, it actually gives you those skills and those mindsets that you want. I mean, I'm trying to think of something just very honest that I can relate to. So the performance-enhancing drugs that were skirted out to me, those are for Leland. No, but those are glucose tablets, because I'm a type 1 diabetic and my sugar was low, and I share my sugars with my girlfriend over our phones, and so she probably had them come out here. But we've given so many speeches where my sugar's been off. Mm-hmm. And the first time it happened, I was so angry, because I was like, this is our one chance to deliver the message. But because of that hardship of doing that, I feel comfortable. Not only do I feel comfortable now if my sugar's off and I have the ability to talk, but if my sugar's perfect, I feel like I can crush it, you know? So, so in a weird way, if you can, that paradox of hardship helps teach you so much.
Nice.
I think that the optimism here is so, and I see you. We're next. I just want to give a kind of exuberant exclamation to say that I too think that actually the greatest ideas and the most sustainable ideas and the most creative ideas come from times of hardship, come from the most chaotic times historically, come from post-depression periods. So this is an opportunity, and I think you guys show that impactful things are happening. Please.
Hello. All right. My name is Edward Delaney. I go to UVA Wise, and I'm from Richmond as well. So I'm like 6 hours away from home.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. No problem. Thank you for having us. And I'm 6 hours away from my family, and I always have my family be my motivation and my why in doing things. But I'm trying not to think of my family so much, so I can actually think about the other things that can inspire me around me, and like that person in the yellow hat. So I'm wondering, like, other than your family, what is your reason why? How do you find your inspiration? How do you keep that motivation without, having your family on your side? If you don't,
We're super fortunate because we have this community. I don't know if you saw our last slide, where it was just comments from folks who are visually impaired, have friends who are visually impaired, grandparents, and they are unbelievable people. Mm-hmm. They are just so pumped and happy that there's somebody out there talking about the disease that they have. that every time that I'm like, I do not want to get on this call, I go into our messages and there's a mother saying like, I just showed this to my son and he was happy to go to school the next day. And that blows my mind. But that community is everywhere around you. That's your friends, that's the kids in your class, that's that professor that you really enjoy, that's anybody that you look up to, or even your friends who you don't always look up to the decisions that they make. But those people are what buoys us. And we just happen to have a big group of blind folks behind us, but we also have all of our friends who just are doing fun stuff and are keeping us positive and happy and motivated.
Right.
I don't know if anybody.
I had a chance to record a message to a kid who had broken his leg, and he took that message to school and played it for a little boy named RJ who just wanted to be an NFL football player. He read 2 grade levels below where he should have been, and he listened to that tape that was made for his friend, and he found out that I was in the NFL and I went to space. In 3 months, he was on reading level. After that, his grades came up, and he told his teacher that I'm going to be an astronaut and an NFL player like Mr. Melvin because he listened to this tape.
Awesome.
That's what stokes me. And if I can get more kids to think of themselves doing whatever they want to do, that changes our society. That changes our universe. And so that's what gets me stoked.
I would like to say you are inspirational. It's crazy. That's crazy. Your story's crazy. And I would love to see you, because this is the first time I've ever seen or heard of you, honestly. And I would love to see you more and more because your story's crazy. Like keep
YouTube,
it up. Keep
Google.
It up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for being here. Y'all were amazing and very inspirational.
Thank you.
So I have a very, very early stage startup that works to combat the isolation experienced by people with disabilities and chronic illnesses. But for me, I personally have a disability, but when you see me, you don't see that. I have Lyme disease, and a lot of people in my life, they don't know that about me, but it's something that a lot of people that have met me recently know that about me. I always found it to be a very, I guess, unsexy thing, because if I talk about, oh, I have Lyme disease, I don't want people to think just because I have this, I'm not type A and can kick your ass, but I can, but people see the disability and they just think, oh, okay, she doesn't, she has a lot of deficits, whereas when did you guys come to embrace that, I guess, quote, quote, disability that y'all have? And how did you feel like that really propelled you to push forward? Because that's something that I know I have to come really close to grasping and talking about really openly, because I'm launching in a few months, and I just know I have to embrace that. So it's still something that I'm struggling with, but I'd love to learn from your experience. So thank you.
No problem.
You already have just by saying it in front of us.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that. That's really cool.
Authenticity and vulnerability just trumps everything. It's amazing. We got here because we've been dealing with the condition for 25 years, and we spent a lot of those years wishing it away, trying to find little strategies, sitting at the back of a classroom, hiding it, whatever. We got through just brute force of running the gambit of life, but nothing is stronger than just being exactly who you are. That's actually the disability that a lot of us have, is that we're not comfortable being ourselves. And so for you to be able to share that is that we find that is stronger than any particular challenge that anyone faces. That's how I feel about it.
I'll tell you right now. What's your name, by the way?
Elizabeth Cohen.
Elizabeth. You standing up in front of this entire room and
Exactly.
saying, I have Lyme disease, it's not going to stop me. I'm a total badass. Your words and mine. But that's what it is. It's just saying, you know what? I have this thing. My friend, I would meet people a million times and be like, yeah, it's me. John. And I'm like, yeah, man, I just can't see you, whatever. And they'd be like, no, it's the 8th time. And I'm like, well, be more memorable. But but making that joke and making light of it and being, I'm totally comfortable with who I am. I have this thing. That's what it is. If you have a problem with it or it upsets you, take that to wherever you need to take it to and get over it, because I'm not going to change. And so standing in this room, being a badass, that is, you're already 95% of the way there. And I think that's awesome.
Thank you guys. You all keep being badasses yourselves.
I think this is a
Elizabeth.
perfect way to end.